Communities. It is beyond just a buzzword. You bring together a group of people who have a shared interest, and suddenly you have powerful entities that can take your business and turn it into a brand that people remember, a brand that people trust, a brand that people want to buy from. On our 7th episode of Just Between You and Me, we are sitting down with Vasta, owner of Jump Consulting and one of the leading experts on building and growing online communities, so we can uncover her secret recipe for building highly engaged Facebook groups that can generate leads for your business. Join us live Wednesday, June 17th, 10 a.m. Pacific, only on nvideo.io/you-and-me. Steve Dotto here. How the heck you doing this fine day? And welcome to Just Between You and Me. I am some kind of special thrilled that you are all joining us here today. We've got a great show planned today. One of the a person who I met at Social Media Marketing World last year. I'd known about her a little bit before, but I sat across from her at a dinner and she blew me away with her understanding of community and Facebook. And I basically grilled her for a solid hour at dinner while my wife sitting next to me was going, Steve, can we talk about something else? But no, I wanted to talk to Bella about building Facebook communities and learn from her because she knows it like nobody's business. So that is our topic today. We're going to be bringing Bella on in just a second. Now, before we do, though, a few housekeeping things. Now, we love your chat. We love engaging with you in chat. But we are broadcasting to multiple platforms here on Just Between You and Me. So if you want to kind of join us in the community chat area, the one place where we really focus all of the conversation, I encourage you to jump over to and point your browser at nvideo.io/you-and-me. nvideo.io/you-and-me. And that's where we managed to pull together all the feeds and have all of the conversation happening there. So I encourage you to pop over there. And at that page, you will also find replays from our previous interviews on Just Between You and Me. So that's all at nvideo.io/you-and-me. Now we are going to, I'm going to bring in Bella Vasta in just a second. And she is the owner and proprietor of Jump Consulting, which has a bit of an interesting genesis of the name, but basically she has been consulting and helping people in the pet industry for so long in building their businesses, building their online presence, and taking advantage of online social in order to create a viable business for themselves. And she's done a really, I think, a unique job in dealing with a vertical market. It's given us some, and the fact that she dives so deeply into that one market gives us some really interesting insight into techniques that really work at a granular level. So that's what we're going to be talking about today on Just Between You and Me. So let's bring on the lovely, talented Bella Vasta. Bella, welcome to Just Between You and Me. How the heck are you doing?
I'm amazing. I love the production of this show. It is so beautiful. You guys do such a great job.
Isn't that great? Well, that's me. It's all my work. I do 100%. I'm responsible.
You got
I'm responsible for every element, for every nice touch and every nicety. No, it's our benefactors from InVideo. They do just a great job. Well, and they use the tools. This is the beautiful thing is their tools just allow us to create these little introductions, these little pieces to amplify your content. You know, we spend so much time creating great and compelling content with our words, but packaging it up in the right way, and the way that they do it is, to me, it's kind of eye-opening.
You're absolutely right. You just encouraged me to step up my own game because I too use StreamYard, but I have yet to incorporate the InVideos on these beautiful intros the way you seamlessly do it. So thank you for that encouragement, because I am now going to step up my game.
And it's pretty easy to do. You just set them in, you just roll them across. It's you know, something with we're now past the stage of live stream being a uniqueness. And it's one of the things that's always bothered me is people are happy to jump into a live stream and they're happy to, you know, just kind of go, oh, I got my phone here, I'm going to live stream, da da da. Well, I come from a television background, right? And we had a certain format that we try and follow, and there was a reason for that.
Yeah.
And here's the thing: is it comes down to respecting your audience and your content, right? You put the
Yeah.
effort in. People, we got a couple of, I don't know how many people we have viewing us now, 20, 100, 200, it doesn't matter. It's they're giving us 100% of their attention. They deserve 100% of our energy and our effort. It's not something that we just do kind of, oh, by the way, here's a live stream. So, okay, I'm going to get off my soapbox now. That's
It's a huge honor and a responsibility. So we're here to show up to make sure we give value. I can't agree more.
So I want to talk with you today about Facebook and Facebook groups. And I got to tell you right off the gate, Facebook is the platform that pisses me off more than any platform, because of the way they treat me. And so I'm always reticent to invest my energy and my time in Facebook, because I'm always afraid that Facebook is going to do something that makes my time and energy. They're just going to say, it's good that you worked that hard, Steve. Now you got to pay for it. So I've got these blinders on right out of the gate about Facebook. But you've come up with the thing that encourages me is you've come up with ways that even Facebook can't screw us with the stuff that you teach.
Well, you have such a good point. I mean, at this recording, it is now June 2020, and our country, the United States, is very heightened. The whole world, between COVID and Black Lives Matter movement and the elections coming up in November. Facebook is a very stressful place to be. But what we're going to talk about, the building the communities, it's just yet another reason why your community, your backyard, as I'm going to explain to you guys today, is all that much more important for you to nurture and make a safe place where people actually want to go to it. It becomes a destination for them. So yeah, general Facebook, it's like, but your community, we're going to talk today how to make that a safe, happening, fun place that people go to.
Let's start by getting us all on the same page, which is and I still get confused, the difference between Facebook groups and pages, because there's different permissions and they're both done for different things. And now, and you've also got your personal profile and your what do they call it, a celebrity or an influencer? Too many things. Talk to me about the difference between Facebook pages and Facebook groups.
Absolutely. So, Steve, I've got a really cool analogy to break this down so that anyone can kind of just really easily understand this. So, we have a home. You can picture a home, and you can picture the front yard, and you can picture the backyard. I always equate a Facebook page like the front yard. A Facebook page is that thing that the newscasters tell you, go follow us on ABC 15 or go follow this business, right? It is really our message to the world. As cars drive by, we don't sit there and scrutinize each house. We know that they have Christmas lights up, or maybe they're saying Happy Easter or Happy 4th of July or whatever it might be. But it's kind of like a blur, right? We also don't go to people's front yards and have a picnic or have an above ground pool and play in our front yard. It is very much our message to the world. Solicitors who come, hey, you want some solar panels? They're going to come knock on your front door, not your back door, because that would be creepy and weird. So your front yard is really your business page, okay? It's your message to the world. Now, your backyard is where the party happens. That's the group. That's where you invite people back there. That's where you have taken a concerned effort to think, what kind of party am I going to have? What kind of supplies do I need? You have a strategy and you have a mission with it. And then you have certain types of people to bring back there. I want you to think about the difference between having like a kid's party with a clown and a jumpy house, as opposed to a rager for a 21st birthday party or something like that. Those are going to be two completely different parties, completely different activities, reasons, and types of feelings, right? So a group is your backyard, your page is your front yard.
But so the page is where we put promotions, where we publish list building content, where we advertise.
Yes and no.
Groups are invited, where we invite people to something that's going on within our group.
I would argue, though, that you can do both on either side. It's just the way in which you deliver the message is going to be different. If I want you to sign up for a class that I'm having, right? I might be very generic and open to the world on my page. I might be like, hey, this thing's launching, sign up here. Here's all the features and benefits. In my group, I might go live, or I might tell a story, or I might do a poll and be like, hey, how many people are interested in A, B, or C? And then really get a conversation going, casually bring it up as more of a one-on-one intimate kind of thing. So you'll be delivering kind of the same messages, but in different ways. You know, like I said, like the front of your house might have Happy 4th of July, you know, on the wreath, or on your front door, you might have a flag out there, right? In the backyard is where you're going to be making the hot dogs and hamburgers for select people, not just anyone who walks by, and setting off fireworks or whatever, if you can in your area. We can't in Arizona.
So a big part of my less than trusting nature with Facebook goes back to a couple of years ago, when as Facebook's business pages all started, when Facebook was asking us to invest in getting people to like our page so that we could then give our message to them, so that we could build our community. And then one day we got that lovely message of, oh, this is great, but by the way, if you'd actually like to reach your people, you have to pay us. The extortion is something that I will remember to my last days. And it established my attitude towards Facebook for all time. So in order to get people into a group, we have to invest again to get people in a group. So how do I bypass my lack of trust with Facebook? And how do I make sure that the investment that I make, because we always say, don't build your business on rented ground, and Facebook is rented ground. But you're telling us that but here there's obviously value in building people into a group. I'm having trouble putting those two together.
Yeah, so your feelings are valid, Steve. And I'm sure there's many other people that feel that way as well. So there's a couple of points to really point out here. Number one, it's the gold rush. And pre-COVID, I was on stages saying it is the gold rush right now. Facebook just invested $10 to $11 million in their very first Super Bowl ad, and it was on Facebook groups. I mean, wow. And then you lock everyone indoors and say you don't have any social abilities to do anything, and now groups are even more heightened, right?
Yeah.
But 2 or 3 years, things are going to change. And right now, this information is for right now, and who knows what's going to happen. But there are ways when you are inviting people into your group to start owning those lists and to really start creating those fans into or the followers into fans rather, right? Like people that are really like, I can't wait to see what Steve has for us this week, or I need to check in with Steve's group because I'm wondering what's going on there. Or I have a question or a problem, and I know that Steve can help me, and I'm going to go ask him in his group because I know that him or his team is going to help me, because you're valuable. So the thing is that the one thing that you can always focus on and put money on is that social media is going to change. And that's why your strategy is always going to be so important, no matter what platform you're on, no matter what you're doing. And it's not necessarily just a build a list so now I can spam email them. It is build a relationship, which is why communities allow that to happen. People feel safe, even though you can screenshot and post stuff anywhere. People feel like it's private, again, even though there's thousands of people in there. And there's this false sense of reality that we're really entertaining and embracing at this moment in June 2020. Who knows what it's going to be like in 2021, 22, or 23. But right now, people feel safe in groups, and you got to go and build that community where people do feel safe. I started my group way back in 2012, before it was cool. So I've been doing it for quite a long time.
It's still not cool.
It is cool.
Okay, so we'll talk about the strategies for building community and building that engagement in just a minute. But humor me for a moment and talk to me about the pragmatic nature of my lack of trust for Facebook. How are you going to get me happy investing in a Facebook group and knowing that I will have access to my community regardless of what the Facebook algorithm does to me?
So I love this because it's a continuation of the conversation you talked about at dinner, and you really grilled me hard on this. And it's really interesting because, I mean, to some point, to some degree, you just got to get over it. You got to get over this fear. Okay. That's the first thing. Because if you're going to just dig your heels into the ground, then this isn't right for you. But the second thing is that if you have a solid strategy, you can overcome anything, anywhere. So we talk a lot about, I'm going to stay away from the strategies, but we talk a lot about how to get their emails and how to really get them into your ecosystem, if you will. And this is just one way of a communication. And it's not about beating the algorithm. It's about simply being valuable enough that you're the top of the mind awareness. That when their Facebook feed, because they don't know how to control their Facebook feed, you know, maybe they're sick of that. They know that they can go into this backyard, into this group, and be safe and like be amongst people that they understand. You know, I mean, right now there's so many political groups popping up right now, so that people don't have to deal with their feed and they can just go exactly where
they're going into their own echo chamber. So creating a safe space or a place space that we deliver the value and content. Now, when you set up a group, the thing that intrigued me was the fact that the groups can be public, where you just let anybody in, which it's pretty much just a page then, really, isn't it?
Yeah,
or you can gate it to a certain extent, where it's a private group or I guess even a hidden group you can do, but where you require people to apply to enter. And that starts to create, I think, a level of intent. If somebody's going to apply to come in and you're going to engage in a conversation with them, that begins, I think, a far more mature relationship between the people that are in the group and the group host.
I absolutely agree. Those 3 questions are one of the most overlooked questions and parts of a group that I see. I see so many marketeers just, you know, hey, do you agree to the rules? Do you like this subject? Okay, come on in. And it's like, no, you guys. So the 3 things that I recommend.
So we should just take a step back. When you create a group, you can create a entry page or an entry criteria where they have to answer 3 questions before they get admitted to the group.
Yes.
Okay. So that's what we're talking about now is how you leverage those 3 questions.
Yes. And I would argue that you can do this in pretty much any community that you own. Okay. We're talking Facebook, but you know, I know that you use Mighty Network. I know you can set up a forum before people get in there. And it's so valuable, because one of the things that people say is, I don't know what to post. I don't know what to say. I don't know what kind of content to put in there. How is it different? And these questions are going to be what really helps you with that. And it's going to help you own your people. So can I go into the questions?
Yeah, that's what I want to know. We want strategy here. It's just between you and me.
So number 1, Steve, the very first question that you always want to ask is, what is your email? Get their email, you guys, because that is now how you own them, or you overcome that don't build your business on rented ground. Okay. So you get their email and you tell them straight up what that email's for. What do you use that email for? Well, there's a couple of different ways that you can use this that I could suggest. Way number 1, you can just automatically send them a welcome email. Welcome to the group. This is what you can expect. Number 2, you could give them something. Maybe it's a free download. Maybe it's a video. Maybe it's a course. Maybe it's a resource or a checklist or a guide or a template. Pick one, okay? And then the other thing that you can do is just get them into a nurture campaign. Maybe you already have a nurture campaign that's already done. That's what I do. And it's like, hey, welcome to the group. My name is Bella. This is my daughter. This is what I do. And this is why you should listen to me. Tomorrow, I'm going to send you a free gift. Stay tuned and go on.
So the first question being email address, 100% on board. I love that idea. But then in the real bustle of life, people apply to join the Facebook group. You go and you say, oh, here's their 3 questions. You admit them. And then for some reason, Facebook takes those questions and they disappear. And I never can find them again. Okay, I don't understand. In my old muddled mind, I'm saying, wait a minute, you collected some data for me, and then you say, here it is. By the way, it's gone as soon as you admit the people to the group. And when that happened to me, I got to tell you, my head spun around like Linda Blair in The Exorcist.
Yes, Steve. That's because I wasn't in your life, though.
I know.
And now I'm in your life, and I'm in all of our listeners' lives right now. And there's
help us out.
Know about me. I'm never going to give you more problems. I am in solving your problems.
That I find trouble believing, but we will. Time will tell. So how do we solve this issue?
So I'm gonna tell you how to solve that issue. But first, I want to tell you another question that's really important. I want to go down. Is that okay?
Okay. So yes. So you want to go through the 3 questions first that you
Yeah,
think you have.
it's like one more question, and then I'll tell you exactly where to put them all and how to hook it all up. Like I said, I got you. I
I'm
got you.
just a passenger on this trip. Okay, let's go.
Okay, second question, you guys. This is gonna help so much. I want you to ask, what's your biggest challenge? Okay, every single one of us, we have some reason for having this group. And when they tell you what their biggest challenge is, a couple of things are gonna happen. You are going to start seeing patterns where people are gonna ask or say the same exact topic or question. And that's gonna help you create your 5 buckets, which I will talk about in a little bit. Again, I'm solving your problems. I'm giving you a blueprint, okay? You can't mess this up if you follow this. The second thing is with your sales pages, they are literally going to give you the verbiage that you can put on the sales pages. I mean, this information is a gold mine. And then the third question, Steve, I'll let you have that one. You can ask whatever you want. Now, so email, what's your biggest challenge? And then a toss-up question. But make sure you think about it really, truly. Like, what information, what data is going to be helpful to my business and to this group for me to collect right now? All right, so don't just throw them away. It's very valuable. Okay, now this is a really cool thing. And in video, I love how you guys are taking notes here in the comments. This is really helpful. I know for all of the viewers and things, you're gonna wanna put in there jumpconsulting.net/GF. G like Google, F like funny. All right, you guys, what this is gonna do for you is it's this software that basically you buy it once. It is $300, but you buy it once and you can put it on as many groups as you want. And it's a plugin. And what happens is when you press approve and you've got 100 people and they all have all these questions that have been answered, it automatically puts it into a nice Google spreadsheet. So to Steve, to answer your question, yes, Facebook has failed at giving us that data. But that's why you need someone like Bella in your life to help you systematize all of this. Because I also, another thing about me is I like to work as little bit as possible and get the maximum benefit. I think a lot of people could agree with that. Could you? Let us know in the comments.
Absolutely.
Like, am I alone in that? So once you have this, you actually have an entire spreadsheet. And these columns, not only do they have the emails, but now you have all of those answers to what's my biggest challenge, okay? That spreadsheet, you could easily give that to your sales page person or your marketing person or your Facebook ads person or whoever's trying to get people into your community or to buy your stuff. That's what they can use. Now, if you really want to get ninja on this, there's a program called Zapier. Many of you guys might know about it. Do you know about it?
I'm just going to put the link in because people do want that. It's jumpconsulting.com/.net/GF.
Yes. And that's my affiliate link.
Yes.
Full disclosure.
Yep. I bought it from your affiliate link. Hold up, my dog wants to get out of the room. Keep talking.
Okay, I will. We love dogs. That's my business. So anyways, you guys, you want to take Zapier and you want to connect a Zap to this spreadsheet. So what's going to happen is, let's back up. You're on this Facebook group. What I do is I actually decline people if they don't answer all my questions, because this is a free group. They're not paying.
Do you find they come back in?
Huh?
Do you find that they reapply once you've declined them?
I can't keep track of that. I don't really care.
Okay, just curious.
And you can get, like, it's kind of like, do you know the secret passcode? Okay. Because if I'm going to be sitting here putting all my time, effort, and energy into this group, the least you can do is do this basic thing. So what I'll do is I'll decline the people first. So now I'm left with a list of all the people I want to accept. I accept them all. All of that information goes into group funnels. It goes into that spreadsheet. Mm-hmm. That spreadsheet, I have it on Zapier so that as soon as another line gets entered, it knows to take the line that has the email and put it into my email client, my constant contact. Wait, what do we use? ConvertKit. I think it's ConvertKit. I don't even know. And so we put it into ConvertKit, and then that goes straight. It's hooked up so that it gets added to a list where it says, hey, thanks so much for joining my group. My name's Bella. Like that thing I was just telling you about. So guys, with literally the click of a button, if you take the time, and you're going to see this theme a lot with me in anything I say, if you take the time to strategize and systematize things, you can be amazing. And you can have all of this wonderful verbiage to use to get more and more people into your funnel. that doesn't get you excited, I don't know what will.
So this alone turns the Facebook group into a list builder that you can then market to the people, and it doesn't matter what Facebook does in the future. You've got the permission to market to and to talk to the individual, which in my mind rewards the investment that you've made in building the group. Because if you don't have access, if you haven't found a way to get people onto your own list as a result of this, you're always going to be working on borrowed time. Because when Facebook changes something, they can disenfranchise you. They could change the rules. They could suddenly decide to start charging, and who knows what they're going to do. I guarantee you, it's gonna make us all upset what they're going to do in the future.
Well,
This is a way. This is a way that you can. Sorry.
I would just bend to it. You know what I mean? Like when one zigs, you zag. It's don't get discouraged by it, guys. And this is why watching this with Steve and following me and like just brainstorming, can really get you guys over these humps. Because if we stay in that frustrating stage, we're not going to get far. Okay. Something I just thought of, Steve, with these lists. I'm sorry. Do you have something to say?
No. I'm listening.
Okay, I haven't said this anywhere else. You're the first person to get this. So we have these lists, you guys. And one of the things I always hear is, but no one ever engages in my group. Or like,
why does that voice sound exactly like my wife talking about when I talk?
I don't know. I just know she's a wonderful woman. So now you have this data. And I know that Steve joined my group in February, right?
Yes.
Let's just say that every 3 months you have a nurture campaign that goes out to a certain segment of people that were added to your list 3 months ago and says, hey, Steve, I know you've been in the group for 3 months. What's been your best experience? And what would you like to see more of? Holy mother, nobody's ever asked that in Facebook groups because nobody can track that unless you front load it. You guys, how exciting could that be?
That's cool. I like that. No, and we've implemented this. You based on using your techniques, we have now with my own business, we've started to use Facebook groups far more aggressively.
Yeah.
And we're and so far so good. It's working out. It takes a little bit of time to kind of figure out each of the pieces, but it's certainly worthwhile. So now we've gotten over the hump, because I could not in good conscience recommend people invest in Facebook groups unless we had this architecture in place. So now we've got this in place. Let's talk about how we nurture and how we build our thing. And the job that you've done with building a community and really supporting and enriching your community. So as you build it, one of the things that, and I'm not sure where this will go, but one of the things that impresses me about what you guys do is when I think about building a Facebook group, it's like this monumental task that's going to be this huge thing, and it's like a forever commitment. But so often you people are using are using these pop-up Facebook groups where you seem to just be able to go, let's just do a Facebook group for this. It's for a limited period of time, add tremendous value, and then poof, they're gone. That is a phenomenal concept.
I actually did that around COVID. Let me tell you a quick story. So
sure.
The end of March, when all of a sudden everything started shutting down, my consultant company helps specifically pet sitting and dog walking businesses, scaling them from 6 to 7 figures. Okay. So it's a very, very small, interesting niche. But when COVID happened and everyone was locked indoors, literally they all had to shut down. I make my living off of people having their businesses and they didn't have their businesses. And I have monthly subscriptions, and I would be lying if I didn't say I had the anxiety. I was, oh my gosh, what's happening? What's going to happen? And I had 2 options. I had one option where I could do where some of my software partners were, cutting the bills down and saying, oh, we'll give you 15% off. Please still pay us. I decided to up the ante. I decided to give my people even more value because they were hurting. They were hurting just like I was. And so what I did is I did a pop-up survival COVID-19 group. And I did it for 2 weeks. And what I did is I reached out to my network and I packed that group full of lawyers and financial advisors and marketeers and human resource people and lawyers who could break down the CARES Acts as they were happening, so that everyone in my group they were all very well prepared, while everyone else was around like grieving, shocked, scared. We were all in different modes, right? I was sitting there producing this, and then they could like eat it whenever they wanted, right? It was like this big buffet. And so that's what I did. I chose to show up for my community that way. And so the people that were in my paid subscription models, they got free access. Everyone else, normally my lowest price is like $80. Everyone else, I just said, hey, $29 and you can be in this group and I'll give you the recordings. And I was able to make 4 figures off of it in just 2 weeks. Now there's another thing, like I have a product where I help people go from solo to employees within 30 days. It's a 4-week course. And usually it's downloadable, you read it and you can listen to it. Well, sometimes when I feel like it, or I have enough people that I know that are actually in that stage of about to start having employees, I say, we're going to do a pop-up group. We're going to do a 6-week pop-up group. It's going to be $200 extra in addition to what the download already is. But the advantage is you're going to have me Monday through Friday walking you through each lesson and helping you side by side. And usually there's like 10 or 12 people in there. And so it's yes, pop-up groups are really great for those of you who might be like, afraid of commitment of a long-term group, but that also brings us into a discussion, and I'm going to take a break and see what questions you have. It also brings us into the discussion that one of the strategies that you need to answer for yourself before you ever start a group is, what kind of group is it? Is it top of the funnel or bottom of the funnel? I have a bottom of the funnel mastermind that's a monthly membership and it just keeps going. I've got a big group that just has everyone and their mother in it. It's the way that I get people into my orbit. And then I start moving them down and down and down and down, or that's at least the way that I hope that happens.
Because the thing I like about the pop-up groups is, for a lot of the content that you create, there is an element of fatigue that will occur, both for the content creator and for your community. And if you have a kind of a best before date on the group alone, you're saying, look, this is only going to be around for 6 weeks. So you can invest in it, you can pour your energy into it. There's a sense of urgency, but you don't have that petering out that happens with so many groups, where everybody's gung-ho at the beginning and then it just goes less and less, and it starts to look threadbare, and then it's all of a sudden almost like an embarrassment.
Yes, exactly. And that's the thing where I think a lot of people get discouraged. I have a lot of people come to me and they say, but I started a group because I got excited and I thought it was a great idea, but it's on life support right now and I just don't know what to do. The biggest lie you can ever tell yourself with Facebook groups is that build it and they will come. No, yeah, they'll come and then they'll leave. Like it's not that big of a deal. Like you have to keep feeding them. It's as if, Steve, I invited you into my backyard. And I did 2 things. One, I put a whole bunch of chairs like in a line. And I said, listen to me talk, and I'm only talking to you. And I did not try to get you interested in meeting someone else and then and have like a bunch and encourage, groups of people talking everywhere. That's what you want to do in your group. The other thing that happens is I don't invite you in my backyard, Steve, and then go in my house and take a nap. Or I don't invite you in my backyard and say, I got 5 hamburgers and hot dogs. When they're gone, and then talk amongst yourselves. Yeah. But for some reason, that's what people are doing in groups. They're not keeping the food coming. They're not filling people's drinks. They're not keeping the Wi-Fi going so the music stops, right? So the people that say my group isn't working, I encourage them to think about, what are you serving? Because oftentimes they stop serving.
So let's talk about that amount of investment. So when you start a group, now be a pop-up group or a permanent group, you need a fire starter. You need the energy from the host to get things going. But there has to be a point where that energy transfers to the group. And for a group to really gain traction, it needs to be a community. It's just what you said. It needs to have lots of people posting ideas, lots of people supporting other conversation, and you need to be a moderator, not necessarily a leader in it. You need the leader to start, but then that should be passed off. Am I describing it right?
You're picking up what I'm throwing down. Yep, absolutely.
Okay. So how is there a time frame? Do you when you start a group, do you know what sort of content you're going to be sharing over what period of time and how long an investment that is? How do we measure that?
How do we measure the investment and the time? Well, it depends on your strategy.
Plan for it. No. I should be clear. How do we plan for it? Like, okay, I'm going to start this group. how much time is it going to take me? Like, how much effort am I going to have to put in to make it worthwhile?
So one of the answers that I love, it comes from Brian Fanzo. And he says that you determine the expectations that you put out there. So if you invite people into this group, first of all, you have to be like, hey, I'm going to be posting in here Monday through Friday every day, or 7 days a week, or 5 times a day. Or I'm just going to do one live show every Friday, or I'm going to do one live show once a month, and then you can talk amongst yourselves. So the answer is, Steve, it depends. It depends on how you want it. Just like how you build a successful business, what you do is you decide, what do I actually want this business to do for me? And you reverse engineer it. So I know some people that are in there just, all the time. And then it's also, I might not be involved as much in my top of the funnel groups where I try to get everyone in there as I am in my paying member group at the bottom of the funnel, where I might show up. Earlier today, I was in there on a 1-hour interview. We were talking about customer experience, and we had a guest come in, and we get together, quote unquote, 4 or 5 times a month. And so that right there is 4 or 5 hours, not in addition to creating all of the content, ahead of time. So it really depends. I'm sorry there's not a black and white answer, but it really depends. And that's why, Steve, it's so important. And I tell so many of the companies and brands that I work with, we got to have a clear definition of exactly what this group's purpose is, because then we can build the strategy from it. Then we can build the roles. And if we need some support, if we need to hire a community manager or an admin, okay? It really depends on what you want. What are your goals?
So when you have your core groups, the ones that are evergreen, that keep going on, I think that as a community leaders, you're kind of like a gardener. You look at your garden and you can tell when it's flourishing and you can tell when it needs water.
Yeah.
What happens when the group needs water? How do you decide how to water the group and how to make it grow and how to kind of bring it back, like when it's starting to wane?
Yeah. So I will speak from my own experience, right?
That's what I want.
If I start to see that either there's a lot of like posts that just are not really at the level that I would like to see them at, or like, I'm going to say this might sound bad, but dumb questions or dumb topics, right? I'm like, whoa. I need to kind of like rein it in a little bit, right? So then I might just, look at some really good evergreen content that I have and just schedule a bunch of it out, and not so much scheduling a video or a blog, but I'll do a poll. I know with my community, if I do a poll, it'll really get it going. Sometimes the polls are useless.
Yeah.
I don't really care what the answers are, but it's pulling people out of the woodwork because it's an easy click. And then I know that because they're engaged, then if I post something tomorrow, there's more of a chance that more eyeballs will see it. Okay. So you really have to like listen and understand what your audience reacts to. Some audiences might really react to you going live. Others might be like, she's live again. And you just sit there and ramble. Some people might really react when you're like, hey, yo, I'm going live, and on Friday, it's gonna be for 5 minutes, and it's gonna be a rapid fire. I'm gonna answer this, and this. You gotta stay tuned. In fact, I'm gonna create an event. I want all of you guys who are gonna go, press a reminder, and then you can start like trickling like, hey, I got something really cool to show you. It has to do with this, and it's going to answer question number 2. And you can just like tease it, So there's so many different things that you can do, but to
Was
get
that a mask? Was that a mask?
Yeah, that was a mask.
It doesn't go with the color that you're wearing.
Yeah. Well, it's my mask,
Looking good. That's way to be considered. Now, let's talk a little bit about growth.
Okay.
Because you've managed to focus a huge part of your business on communities, which means they're successful to you.
Yeah.
How did you get people into the groups to start?
How did I get it to start?
Yeah.
Honestly, Steve, I really believe that you have to build a community first of people that know, like, and trust you, and then you can monetize it. And that's like just a golden rule everywhere, right? And it's the same for groups. So I would say back in 2012, I started my own group for 2 reasons. I'm going to be really honest about this. Reason number 1, there are very few other groups in my industry. and I have a very loud mouth, and I like to give advice. And even though it was unpopular advice, but yet legal or true, or like it was sound advice, some
Mhm.
people didn't like that. So I decided to create my own sandbox. That's what I did. That's why I created my own groups. I had no idea what I was doing at the time. I just knew that, what, I wanted to spend my time where it was nice.
Yep.
And then about in 2016, when I really got serious about my consulting company and I had sold my pet sitting company, it was the second, that was my second company that I sold. I'm about to launch my fourth company. Anyways, they, I was like, I need to figure out how to monetize these groups, because I was spending so much time typing away in Facebook. And I was like, this is ridiculous. Like, I'm not getting paid for this. I'm getting paid if maybe I say, hey, I'm doing a class, want to do this. But there was no like reoccurring, regular kind of thing. And that's where I came up with the mastermind. People were telling me that I needed a membership. I said, I don't want a membership site. I've done a membership site before. I don't want it. And so that was my answer. What I did, again, what I said earlier, is I said, what do I want this group to do for me? And then I reverse engineered it according to how I wanted it. I needed to allow the space for it to organically flourish. But I also, knowing how I am, I needed a little bit of structure. And okay, if you do sign up, this is what you can expect every single month from me, So it depends. I'm so sorry to keep saying it depends, but that's where strategy comes in. And that's why, like we did at dinner, it's important. If you're serious about starting a group, it's important to know your strategy or hire someone to help you with the strategy. Because if you don't know where you're going, it's like getting in the car in California and hoping and driving east and hoping you end up in Boston, but you end up in South Carolina instead, because you didn't have your navigation tuned in.
So no, yeah, exactly. And people from the outside will often have a better perspective. You get caught up on the inside. So your groups really began organically from your own personal needs to start. When you launch a new group, when you
Mhm.
start something new, what are the first steps that you take in building the awareness of that group?
Yeah. So like, how do I get people into them?
Yeah.
Okay. So there's a lot of different ways to do this. One, depending on, and this may or may not work for everyone. So you can do it as an invite in your signature on your email. You can do a video through InVideo on your cover video on your page. And you can have like this whole thing that kind of keeps drawing people to this, like right here on the
Yeah.
side, where you can change that blue call to action button that says join group or join community. Okay. You have to connect your page to your group first, but you can
Okay.
do that. You can post about it. You can send an email like you just did about your Mighty Network group, and you can send an email blast to everyone, maybe top 10 reasons why you're going to kick yourself if you don't join this group today. Like, what? Like be a little different or oddball about it. Go live and talk about it on video. You can email your past customers. You can, one that I really like, if you're active on stories, I love doing a story, but then saying, if you want to know the answer to this, you should get in the group.
Yeah.
And to leave it on a cliffhanger. And something that Chris Strub does that I've always loved, and it's really easy. If you use Pretty Link, it's a URL, it's a plugin on your website. So stevedotto.com/group,
Yeah.
I
We use
can
pretty
remember.
links all the time. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I can remember that. If you
Allows you to rename your URLs to logical things you can remember. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's really helpful, like on stories, like, you want to know the answer to this, you should join the group. Go to stevedotto.com/group. I can remember that. But if
Yeah.
you tell me to go to Facebook and go find your group, I'm going to get distracted 20 times before I get there, if I even actually get there. So like creating a pretty URL for it is really helpful. Teasing it. I also tell people the difference between like a page and a group, or a free group and a paid group, okay, depending on which
Yeah.
one, is on the free one or in the public facing one, you can tell people what they need to do or what they should do. On the paid group, on the paid group, you tell them how to do it. The
Okay.
step by step, okay? So you can talk about the same stuff, but I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to tell you on my page right now that as a professional pet sitter, you should be offering virtual consultations instead of showing up at people's door to meet with them and get their information. In my group, I'm going to have Marcus Sheridan in there explaining on video how step by step to do a virtual consultation, so that what you should do gets people's interest. And so that's a really great way to get people in your groups as well.
Let's talk about one of the super popular strategies that seems to be out there these days, and that is doing challenges.
Woohoo! Yay!
Do you like? I haven't done a challenge.
No. You don't like them?
No, it's not that I don't like them, but I haven't done one. So they work though, don't they?
They do.
So tell us what the architecture of a challenge is.
Okay, so again, you guys, everything is front loaded, and that's a good thing. You want things to be front loaded, okay? Because you can sit down, you can batch stuff. So a challenge you can do just a one-time challenge. Hey, you have to do this by 6 o'clock tonight, and you get to set the rules, all right? So something really off the wall, we're all in business, we're all entrepreneurs or in social media or whatever. You could literally just do a sit on the wall challenge, where you have to go up against the wall and like squat down and just be like, take a selfie of you doing it. And I'm going to pick one winner at the end of today. And I'm going to send you a $25 gift certificate to Starbucks or Amazon or whatever it might be. Right. And all that does is it gets people like, you'd be surprised. Like people like, it feels like I can participate. It feels like I can be a part of something. And it doesn't have to necessarily be like a fitness group in order to do that, because it appeals to you as a human. Now, like if you're doing something about customer experience this month, right? You could do a 5-day challenge where every single day you just have a different challenge, and maybe there's no prize. You don't necessarily always have to have a prize, but you can say, do this and report back and let us know how it went.
And it's in getting people not to do the challenge, but the key from what I can glean is not doing the challenge, but it's posting about the challenge. It's creating energy and them sharing their experience as they do the challenge. That's where the energy comes from, and that's where the benefit to you for your business case is. Am I right?
It is. And Steve, the other thing that you got to understand is that for every time that you reply to someone, or every time that someone posts that they did the challenge, there's going to be a lot more people that are watching, that are lurking, that might not actually take the time to write back or do it, but they're watching and they're smiling.
It's super relevant and on point and active social proof is what it is. That's what the challenges are all about. Yeah, absolutely. And so you can do any kind of challenge, and it's fun. And sometimes it's fun if you attach a prize onto it. In my mastermind, I have accountability partners where I actually pair people up. Nice.
And so then like the partners, like they each get a point that day. So it's like, Steve, did you do it? You better get us your 1 point, because I got us our 1 point. Did you get us our 1 point? And they do it. Now I do have to have my admin go in and tally up points. Yeah. But at the same time, it's fun. It's a nice revival. Now you can't do it every single month because it gets old, right? Yeah. Another thing kind of on that same line is sometimes, and I've done this, and I have other people that have done this too. It's really cool when you can just put a Starbucks card up there and say, hey, coffee's on me. Here's $50. Everyone, like, get a tall. But when it's out,
careful Facebook's rules though there, right?
No, it's okay. It
is? Okay.
Yeah. And then the other one is Andrew and Pete do this in their Atomic group, and I really love this. They so they do a challenge, but what they do is you enter to win something. So like one time, and I'll never forget this, they did a pizza. And so there's, you can go live and you can put all these names into this like, virtual like ball thing, and then it pops out one winner. So you're doing it live. And you literally are like, all right, Steve, like, where do you want me to get your pizza from? I'm going to order you a pizza. And they give them the credit card. Like, it's just, guys, like, get creative, because it's interactions like these that have that dopamine effect on people, or that make people like really be like, you know what, that Steve guy is pretty cool.
Yeah.
him, you know? And that's what's going to get people to keep coming. You don't have to be the winner to feel that way. You don't have to participate in it to feel that way. It is something that everybody sees. Now, you got to be careful because you can also fatigue people too by making it a little too intense and a little too unattainable.
Yeah. I'm telling you, folks, it's trying to figure out these waters ourselves is just a huge challenge. And I poo-pooed Facebook groups for so long because of my experience. But talking to people who use them and have built their business, and the thing that has blown me away about what Bella's done is her community. I think Facebook has been your number one platform for building your community. Am I right?
100%.
Yeah.
I did not have Facebook. I would not have this roof over my head.
But she's taking advantage of the things that Facebook offers and making sure that she is directing the traffic and directing her customers into areas that she has control. So tell me about this, because you share with us. You've got this. You've got what's the promo that I'm putting up here? It's can you hear me?
Just a page of my website.
Oh, it's just a page from your website. I'm sorry, because you have a community that people can join, right?
I've got like 500 blogs now. I need to update it. And we're approaching our 200th podcast too, which is kind of cool. But yeah, I do podcasts, I do videos, I do blogs, I do it all.
So where do they go for that? That's jumpconsulting.org.
No, jumpconsulting.net, but that's more so if you have a pet sitting or dog walking company.
Okay.
I would honestly say if you want to connect with me on the socials, or you can go to bellavasta.com. That's my speaker website page. Good. And my consultant. So if you're if you have a brand that, you know that groups are the way to go, and you know that you can kind of you have some ideas, but you need to flush them out and figure out an actual strategy. That's where I just love I love brainstorming and playing and figuring it out, and we can create a roadmap and a blueprint for you. So
from a personal perspective, you helped me enough that I did your podcast. Is my podcast episode like your best ever?
Absolutely. It comes out tomorrow.
I thought it was out already.
Last week. What am I saying?
Last week, yeah. There we go. All right. Are you ready for this, Bella? We are going to some people nail this, and some people just get so freaking confused. It's my lightning round, but it's not like I want you to say a couple of words about these relevant topics, about what emotion they generate from you or what reaction they generate immediately. Okay. So I want reactions to it.
Okay.
Okay. So we're going to start with influencer marketing.
Yay.
Okay, that's really lame. You can't just go yay or boo to everything.
Oh, okay? Well, you just said my reaction.
No, but like influencer marketing, it would be like, oh, it's okay, yay, it's fine. Okay, paid traffic. Paid traffic.
Too much paid traffic. You're not doing a good job connecting with people.
Okay, that's better. The new Facebook avatars.
Dumb. They're so dumb.
See, there you go. You're on it. Live streaming.
Heck yeah, do more of it and be unique about it, because it's not enough to just go down camera anymore.
Digital health. Talk about like digital doctors, calling your doctor online and doing a FaceTime with them.
Oh, I think it's good and bad. I don't think that it should cost as much as it does normally. When they can't put hands on you, I don't think it should cost as much. But it also is convenient when you don't have to leave the house.
Good stuff. Zoom.
I think their days are limited. I think that there's going to be something else that's going to pop up and take over. But I think that everyone's going to still call it Zooming, just like we call everything a Kleenex.
Who do you think is going to take over?
I have no idea, but I don't see them as innovative enough to handle the influx. I could be completely wrong, though. You're the tech guy. That's my first thought.
It's an interesting one. Okay, trust.
You need it. Otherwise, you don't have any kind of relationship in life.
Bots.
I think it's yin yang. That's the best way to say it. I think that they are highly amazing and effective if they're used right. And despicably horrible if you don't have the right person helping you. And the person that you should also think about having on your show maybe is Kelly Noble Marabella. She is actually the chatbot trainer for ManyChat, and she's just mind blowing when it comes to that. Her bot strategy got me like 80 people on my live, and like my that's a whole nother story. I'm gonna stop there.
The whole bot work, good stuff. And the final one, and I know that you're dabbling in it, is TikTok.
Woohoo! Creative fun. It does not help my business per se, but it helps my creativity.
Okay.
And it really makes me laugh, and because the algorithm it's one of the most amazing algorithms I've ever experienced, honestly. But it makes me laugh out loud when I'm all alone in my house. So anything that makes me laugh, especially right now, is like good for my soul.
Good stuff. Just stick around. Coming up next week, folks, coming on to Just Between You and Me, we're going to be talking copywriting. And Ken Moskowitz is a genius. He has created a web service, a copywriting service, which when you see it, you will be absolutely blown away. But Ken has a take, and he makes copywriting as accessible as it can ever be to those of us who struggle with our copywriting, which is, I think, just about everybody. So you're going to want to join us next week for more Just Between You and Me. Bella, thank you so much. One more time, your URL is bellavasta.com is the best place to come.
Bellavasta.com and Bella Vasta everywhere else too.
Yeah, Bella makes a tremendous sense. Engage with her if you need some help with your own Facebook and your community strategies. It was certainly worth our time. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you, Steve.
And for everybody else, I want to thank you so much. I want to thank our benefactors here at NVIDIO for putting this on. Every week, we dive deep into the world of online marketing and see kind of behind the scenes exactly what the successful online marketers are doing. Bella Vasta was a terrific guest today. Ken Moskowitz next week. Till then, I am Steve Dotto.